Thank you for joining me today in meditation. In a few of my podcasts, like Changing Channels, we've talked about resonating, tuning in, and how when we listen, we can often tune back into our natural vibration. And today I have a special guest that I'm really excited to talk with about meditation and some of the ways we can connect back to a centered presence within us. A couple of years ago, when I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I was so fortunate to be a part of an amazing community of yogis. I was developing a yoga practice and had the honor to meet Sue Bastian and attend her classes. Hi, Sue.
Hi
Welcome to the
there.
show.
It's so fun to be here.
It's so awesome that you could join us. Sue has an amazing gift of being able to share from her heart in so many ways. From the classes she put together and challenging us to hold all these poses and to flow with this beautiful rhythm, her kind words after class. We would often talk about our kids, places that we found inspiration, and sometimes we'd share our woes. But she is an amazing and gifted teacher. And sometimes during our yoga classes, she would treat us to a little extra healing during our savasana in her own unique way. And today she's going to talk with us about Sprit Song. So thank you for joining us. Like I said, Sue, I'm so glad you're here. Let's start at the beginning. Where did you start with your yoga practice?
By accident. I was a stuck-up athlete and
Mhm.
starting to suffer the problems of stretching incorrectly, feeling like I knew it all. And one Christmas, when my daughter was really suffering from her ballet addiction, she begged me to go to a hot yoga class, and I did not want to go. I thought it was ridiculous, and I hobbled into that class with so much pain. And we suffered terribly. And she looked at me like she wanted to kill me. And after the class, they asked if we wanted to sign up, and she said yes. And I was signed up.
That's
And my
amazing.
pain went away. I was fine.
I think there is this natural tendency to think like hot yoga sounds horrible.
Oh,
I
gosh, yes.
had the exact same experience. Like, I do not want to do that. I remember a wonderful yogi telling me, Connie, she was like, please come to hot yoga. I was like, oh, and that's where I met you. I mean,
Oh,
literally, that
thank
is where I met you. And I'm so grateful for that.
you. Thank you.
So then how did you begin to incorporate song into your yoga practice?
Also, quite spontaneously and almost, well, I guess by accident, one of one of the Albuquerque studios called Blissful Spirits was doing a teacher training.
Mhm.
And I never wanted to do a teacher training, but one of the very gifted teachers named Rebecca came and said, Sue, you're doing sacred song. And I said, okay, because I like a challenge. And so what do you want? And she said, just whatever you do. And so Sacred Song was born. I came to the
Wow.
class not knowing what was going to happen. Rumi says a poem is throwing words up to heaven, right? And
Mhm.
this became something like that. And really, the Sacred Song has evolved from day one, where I had those ongoing yoga teachers. And yet it has stayed the same, all about the vibration of the voice within the body. So I
Right.
think you were talking about other musical vibrations coming into the body, and
Mhm.
my specialty is more bringing the your own vibrations from your own voice into the body.
Right. That's beautiful. And so how did you start singing? Where did your singing career start?
In the womb, my mother sang all the time, and
Uh-huh.
when I was 2 years old, I could sing in harmony, and you know, I sang Bach, and I sang, Little Bo Peep, just anything. So I was kind of born a born singer. I did have my first grade teacher, she was my second grade teacher, Miss Holian, prophesy that I would be a singer when she tried to have people match tones, and they couldn't. So then I
Right.
anyway, it was kind of born in the blood.
That's amazing. And I just remember, like, I remember sitting in yoga class with you, and, probably the first time that we had a class together, and we were laying there in Savasana, and you just started singing. And like, I just remember like everything in me wanting to sing with you. And I remember you telling me, like, I just want people to sing with me too.
I
And I
know.
was so afraid, like, all I could do was hum. So I just started humming, but it gave me this amazing sense of clarity. And so I think it's a really beautiful gift. Why
Right.
do you think song speaks to us so much in that vibration?
I think that song is one of the most natural propensities to humankind, and it has been kicked out of our lives by culture, by our Western culture. People feel vulnerable when they sing. So in yoga talk, we have chakras. And you know what? If your listeners aren't really into that kind of talk, they correspond with natural nerve plexes in the body. But the throat area is an area that has nerves going all around it. It's the vagus nerve that sort of starts in the back of the head, at the bottom of the head, and goes around the vocal cords and actually feeds into all the nerves of the body, wicked important nerves. And when we vibrate that, we become very vulnerable. And yet also the vibrations hit different centers of the body. We have become afraid of things that are wholesome and helpful to ourselves, and we tend to rush toward those things that aren't wholesome. So singing, for instance, when one is in a deep depression, the last thing one wants to do is sing generally, and it is the first thing that would help. Right? The depression itself kind of drags us into the energy of its own sense. And yet singing will always align whatever energy, whether you want to look at it physically, the physical energies of the body, or metaphysically, the energetics of the body and the mind connected to that. So singing, there's nothing more primal. If you speak, you can sing. I believe that. Take a spoken word and prolong it, and there you go. We have a tone, right?
Right. Well, you know, it's a funny thing I used to do, and is like when I would go on long road trips, you know, I would actually just harmonize. Do you know what I mean? I would sing the vowels. I would start by just singing like an A, and then go through each one of them and just echo it out of me. And it felt so liberating and so empowering and so freeing.
Yeah, driving is a good place, and vacuum cleaning. I've heard a lot of people say, and showering. So those are the main ones, because we're a little bit less aware of exactly the voice, right? And so we kind of use the noise around us, but we can become comfortable with singing. And so this spirit song teaches, first of all, I usually take a little bit of time to help people with singing, just the mechanics of it, you know, how to use the breath. Even you'd be shocked if you Google, learn how to do a yogic breath. How many of the teachers teach it incorrectly? And you need a singer to tell you the shoulders never rise, right? So I kind of teach people how to expand the diaphragmatic muscle and things like that, and how to focus the tone, mainly so that they lose a little of their shyness, right? To start right in and say, okay, everybody sing, you're not going to get an awful lot, right? So you get them doing exercises first. You get them really loud and you tell them, be ugly, you know, don't try to be beautiful. And I sing very loud into it just so that they're overwhelmed. And then they begin to sense this connection to their own voice. Now, my whole life has been very Christ-oriented. I was born into a Christian circumstances, and I developed Judaism early on in my youth, and other kind of religions came in, including the religious direction of fundamentalism, which was quite a heady and exhilarating time, as well as being a time of much fear. So in this sacred song, I try to help people who are recovering from traumatic religious experiences and help them back to the roots of love. And every religion, we will find every single human in every single religion there. So even though I often use the verbiage of the Christianity thing, we don't limit it to that, because God, I mean, I don't know who it was that said to speak of God is to lie, because we cannot do God justice, right? To sing to God is not a lie, right? When we use words, we might be lying, right? Because they're going to limit us. But when we just use sounds like you did in the car, that was a very developed spiritual moment right there, where you were just shooting sounds up to the sun, you know, to the love of the universe. And that is a very, very developed spiritual practice.
Right. Thank you. No, it's really empowering. And I think that's the main thing that, you know, I want listeners to understand, is to find their way back to their love.
Yes.
Right. Because there is a lot of pain that has developed around the idea of religions and different views, but just singing and sharing that grace. And I was thinking about how when we listen to songs, and again, creating your own song, like my podcast is becoming my song, right? That's my voice coming out in my own ways.
Right.
And I was thinking about when we listen to songs, how we're not trying to correct the song. We're not trying to change the song. I mean, sometimes we might resonate with it a little differently. We might want to change a word or two, but we're resonating with it. We're relating to it. We're remembering ourselves through it so that we
Yes.
can then regain our own voice.
Right.
Because that's the beauty of it, right? Sharing this experience with you, like you were a powerful part of my experience, right? You were developing the sound within me.
Oh, brilliant.
And so we share that. And I don't know, I love that part of music. And I've always been, entranced by it. And you have such a beautiful operatic voice.
Oh,
Like,
well, that kind of makes me cringe. But I was told by the surgeons of the Stuttgart Opera that I would never sing again. So
mhm,
every time a tone comes through my body, I give thanks. I promise you, never take it for granted that I can sing, because I couldn't even speak at that point. I had ruined
wow,
my voice.
right.
And the voice is very, very ruinable, right?
Mhm,
There are millions of little muscles in there and things that we can set up incorrectly, and it
right.
won't work right. So whatever we have, we bring, and we send the energy through, right? So
Mhm,
a body of water that doesn't have an outlet will become putrid, will
mhm,
stagnate. And so we know that the energy of love is going into us, but if we try to keep it, it'll stagnate. But letting it go in song and in praise will keep it alive and will feed the world, right? So
mhm,
all of this, and the words we use or the words we don't use are important to the whole thing, right?
right.
So I try in this spirit song to encourage people to make sounds that don't have words attached to them, or to use a
Mhm,
language they don't really speak well, because
right.
we have, the more distant we are to a different meaning in the word, even if the word is, God or Holy Spirit, it draws us into some other person who taught us what that is. But
Mhm,
when we really just use sounds to feel the love and to feel one another and to heal ourselves and to heal the world, to allow love to heal us, the
mhm,
more we get from it.
right. Oh, I couldn't agree more, Sue. I mean, beautifully said. So would you like to share and how would you like to proceed? Would you like to do a brief
Yeah,
meditation? Shall
let's
we
do
bring
a
in a
little.
little song?
Yeah, let's hear some music in the background, and I'll talk us through a very brief meditation, and then I'll sort of fade it out. And
Okay.
toward the end, we can kind of show a piece that has spontaneous song just being thrown in all over the place. And
Okay.
the first one is just instrumental. The second one will use some yogic words that might seem a little foreign to people who don't know them, but I can explain that a little bit more.
Okay.
Anyway, find a comfortable seated position where the normal curves of the back are maintained. Either flutter the eyes closed or pick an unmoving point and let that point simply go blurry. Begin to feel the breath as it comes in the nose. Sense the energy of the universe. Not able to get my sound to go on for some reason. There we go. As this music comes into the mind, let it unite with the breath. Observe the feeling of the breath. Observe the music. Sense the music going into the very body, the bone, the muscle, the blood. Allow the rhythm to accompany the heart. The more the focus goes to the breath, sensations, the closer we come to ultimate love. and ideas come in other than that perfect love, shift the focus to the breath. This breath, ruah, is the Holy Spirit. It is the eternal Om, the sound of creation. You are one with this eternal creation. Very gently flutter the fingers, touch each finger with the thumb, and emerge, fluttering the eyes open and coming into the space.
Wow, that was lovely, Sue. It was so relaxing and so engaging.
A lot of this is not kosher yoga. So if you have yogis here who have done chant and things, they're going to say, okay, this is just wrong because I'm not using the tone exactly of Om and the frequencies. I'm not pretending to. I'm not trying to co-opt ancient practice. I'm simply using the universal love that has channeled through my life to share with others. That's all.
And I think that's a large part of what my classes are and my podcast is this explorative approach
Nice.
to seek out meditation practices and even create them yourself. Like I said, when I was singing in my car, those vowels,
Yeah.
that was a creation within me. It's not something someone said, hey, you should try this.
Right.
It's something that spoke from my soul inside and said, release this out and just start singing to the universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's important that we allow that freedom to create within our meditation practice.
Mm, absolutely. And within life, how much spontaneity is lacking once the institutions get a hold of things, right? So,
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's our way
And I
of
think
being unique as well as being connected. So it's like the bird. You've got perfectly unique. That means you yourself, everything that is you, and the connection to everyone else. And if one is stronger, then we're going to go in circles, right?
Mhm.
We need to develop both of them.
We do. We need to find that balance and that harmony, as you're saying, with the oneness that is. As we begin to connect and we begin to have compassion for one another, these illusions of separateness start to dissolve.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
We just start to engage more in the present moment through
Yeah.
that process.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything about meditation has to do with the present moment, winning it back.
Right.
Right? It's
Right.
never left us, just like God, right? Just like
Right.
love, it's within. But we
Mhm.
so often get words telling us that it's something to go find, or you have to do this and this and this to get it. No, let's
Exactly.
just be aware of what is, and there is God. Right?
Exactly. And it's like when people would say, I think it comes from the Bible that it's as far as seeing the birds in the sky, like if you chase after that bird in the sky, finding something, you're just going to get lost. You know what I mean? You're going to chase after this bird and chase after that bird.
Mm.
And like you are demonstrating, we have the wings, right?
Right, right,
The
right.
wings are here.
Yeah. In Luke, actually, in a couple of the Gospels, it says, take no care for what you'll put on or what you'll eat, or look at the lilies of the field. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet Solomon in all his glory is not arrayed as one of these. And that's what I think you mean, that take no thought of it. Don't go chasing it, right? Just be in
Mhm.
beauty.
Definitely. And when you're bringing this song and reminding us of our presence, it reminds us to be and to sing our song.
Yes,
So
yes.
I love that too. I love it.
Oh, thank you, dear. And thank you for bringing that up.
Yes. All right. Would you like to close with some beautiful song and voice?
I will take that same piece of music and play what I played originally, what I sang into originally. So, in other words, you will hear my voice several times. It's just being spontaneously thrown in. There was no fixing of rhythm, there was no fixing of syllables or anything. So it's sloppy, right? There's nothing refined about this. But I'm going to turn off my my microphone now and leave everybody with this piece.
And before you go, though, before you go, because I'm going to let your voice lead us out of this meditation to
Oh,
have
I
our
see.
peace.
Okay.
But tell me real quick, how can people connect with you?
Oh, thanks so much. I've been sloppy about that as well, but I do have a website called Genesis, the number one, so genesis1yoga.com, and you're welcome to go there, or to send me an email directly to heartandsong@hotmail.com. That's heartandsong@hotmail.com. And I am in the process of setting things up, but I sort of need people like you, Carrie, to push me along. And so this has been very, very good. Thank you. I appreciate it so much, dear, that you've done this.
Oh, you're welcome. I love doing it. I love bringing meditation to people. And you are truly just an inspiration that spoke to me when I
Oh,
was thinking about sharing creative expressions of meditation.
brilliant.
You were the one
Thank
that
you,
just
my
popped
dear.
into my mind.
It's so funny because I'm so high energy that I suck at meditation. And yet I meditate all the time. And whenever I tell a yogi or a meditator that I suck at meditation, they say, we all do. Right?
Exactly.
And yet, what a gift to just be quiet, right?
Yes.
Um, the words that you'll be hearing are Omnama Shivaya. And if that scares you because you've been taught that that's polytheism, the highest attenuation of Hinduism is monotheistic, and people don't realize that all of the founding and grounding yogis knew that there was one power of love, and toward that one power that unites us all, we are going. So they had different so-called gods that illustrated different qualities of that one power because they knew they were incapable of trying to describe it all in one. And Shiva, strangely enough, is the god of destruction. And this I love because how often does our God say, kill that shit, get rid of it, burn it up, right? And this, I think, is a lovely Om Namah Shivaya is not worshiping some God that's not our God. It is the ability to get rid of whatever separates us from ultimate love and from one another, the ego that ties us down. So Om Namah Shivaya. Now, you could also sing whatever you want into it. So while you listen to this, sing vowels, sing prayers, sing whatever, throw it up at the sun. It's good.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, dear Carrie.
Thank you, Sue, for reminding me of home.
Oh, God love you. Thank you for this. That was very, very nice. Thank you.